guys, before I start this tour, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who checked out my last base and whoever tried it. I appreciate you telling me how it worked out. I did play with it myself last wipe, and I really did enjoy it using it. I am going to make a couple changes for my next one that has a little bit more space for deployable and is a little bit bigger. I thought it was a little smaller than I was anticipating after playing out of it, but this is the base that my group has been playing out of. It is a 4+ small group base, and she has survived 2 online raids and 4 offline raids. I don't know why, but she draws a lot of attention. But we'll start the tour off. We have 4 outer TCs, all of your standard detachables. I like to use just the standard ones. If I want to make them a little stronger, I'll add just another door or so. If you have another outer that you like, feel free to use it. Just make sure that it's coming out to some equal parts to what this one is, or it won't work for the build proof. Going in through one of our gatehouses. For this side, this base has a little bit of different areas that you can choose what you want to have. For the build that I'm showing you right now, I have 4 entrances to the base. If you choose to only have 2 bedrooms, it's up to you. But just to show you that I'm going to have 4 entrances in this one. Starting with this gatehouse, we have Patrico peaks going through. You can place small boxes or things like this to look up through, or beds out here. Going in, we're entered into one of our entrances towards the base. It is mirrored on each side, and we have a funnel wall going through each side. We have spots for large furnaces out here in the compound, and peaks looking out of the compound. These peaks can also be switched out to bedrooms if you choose. My team doesn't really use outdoor bedrooms as much, just because we don't feel like we really haven't been online rated that much, but it seems to have changed, so maybe we will switch up some of these to bedrooms. But we prefer to have these extra peaks, having layers, having peaks inside the walls at the start of a raid, having peaks inside the shell, and then using shell and shooting floor now we need to. But these peaks look great peaks to look outside the walls. Also, these gatehouses, we have these peaks looking up over the gatehouses, which the turret sits in the middle. I know what you're saying, you can probably stick an HV up there. That is a risk you have with that. You can just switch out to a half wall and you don't need to really worry about it. So far, they haven't been really HV'd out, so especially during an online, it really helps giving that extra peek at a different angle if people are trying to sneak around your walls. Continuing the tour, we'll come over to one of these sides where we have breach peaks and more of our peaks up outside the base. This is just another exit with Patricos and more of these breaches that look out. Going into the base of the double door, you can either have the double doors facing in to create an airlock for the shell, or if you would like, you can have them facing the other way. When going out, it'll create an airlock here, which you're starting to get deep to your gatehouse. You can leave these doors open and they can't get past, but you can shoot around them. Going into the shell, we have multiple ways to get in with more breach peaks looking out. A lot of these look back towards the gatehouses if they start to get torn out, and they all look back towards our walls. We also have these ways to quickly get out with our chain link. And then with the chain link, we can also open up one of them to shoot out and damage other players, but 2 of them, bullets have a lot of drop off and get hit. We have 2 turrets watching our shell on the inside with more breach peaks and symmetrical on each side. Going up into the base, we have 2 entrances on both sides. We have some drop boxes loot that are locked off. On the jump up towards the 2nd floor, we have a non-lootable locker that you can lock, and if broken, they would have to raid the wall to get. Going down this way will get us down to our starter and our main core, which we have a bunker. Now, I've seen a lot of videos and people saying about Crow's video of the bunkers. This bunker is still by far the best bunker. I don't know why they spent so much time talking about how can instant rocket through the corner, which you can, but it was a really simple way just to work around it. Easiest way just to work around it is putting a hard side wall and putting a ramp. A ramp will stop the fire conditional from going through, and if you're still worried about it, you can just upgrade it with twig to regular wood and just soft side it out in the morning. I've tested it a couple times in the build silvers and it doesn't seem to leak through at all. So I still believe that this is the best bunker because when these sides are broken, the bunker's still closed. So the bunker won't be affected by the up walls being broken. As you can see, this allows for a lot of loot space in our 2x2 starter. Boxes down below, barrels, that are electric furnaces, multiple bags, pair benches, all in this kind of two-story kind of looking kind of starter. Going back up, we have a spot for our furnaces. And we can place turrets and things like in here, watching our top of the floor. Going up the base, each floor has a floor peak so we can see what's going if they happen to be on that floor rating. We use this floor just to put some beds. I would use 4 players to play with this base. You could fit a little more in this area and put beds on these jump ups. We usually put things like our camera station and things like that. Put another locker up here. And this is where we lead to our shooting floor, which has a huge amount of different angles. One thing I like about this base is when looking from the outside, it doesn't look like there's a lot of peaks to look out at. But when you're in the base, there's lots of small angles and lots of peaks looking at different angles to really throw off. These doors are optional, but we have these ramp peaks to look down in case they're in our walls or through our breaches to shoot down at them and can't be shot by the raid bases from above. We have these side angles to look out. Sometimes I window these off just to get a little bit more of an area to look where people are. You can always put a window here or an embrasure and then take the window off if you want to shoot out. Continuing around at 360s, I don't like shooting floors that are super open with wide gaps. I like to have smaller angles that you can get off that gives us an advantage from us being at a small angle looking at a bigger area. Wide gaps usually give different angles that sometimes can catch you off guard from raiders from above that can maybe be able to see, or below that might be able to see you and you don't think they can. Keeping the angles kind of tight allows you to see out and gives you an advantage more than it gives them an advantage. So that's more of what my bases are decided by. We have these quick accesses to get down out of the base around each side and ways to peek out. Again, you don't have to put these doors if you don't like, but you can if you want, just to keep it hidden in case you do go down and or this ramp is broken. It can still be doored off so people can't just climb on in. First, going up to here, you can see this is one of our retakes for our roof, having 2 ankle biters here and a way to look back up top. Going down is our mobility, kind of with this ramp style peaks. Putting fireplaces here allows you to peek over the wall a little easier, and this allows us to look back into our shell. You can place a bed or bags in here with a small box that allows you to look back in and spawn, and it's also the mobility up from our shell. Going back up will lead to our next section, which is our bedrooms. You can have 2 drop boxes, 2 beds, leaves us angles down to look out. And also, if you didn't know, placing a window here allows you to put drop boxes over the window. So we can pick the window out, shoot up, see outside, replace the window if we need to. It also covers some of that head angles. Kind of keeps your head covered inside of here. This is one of our peaks to look down at our breaches in case they are broken. Click down. We have this one wide angle here that's also being blocked by the drop boxes. We have ways to get out of the base from here. Also up to our roof. Hidden in the shooting floor on both sides is 2 bunkers. Keep your battery in your boxes, windowing this off. If they are rated from up top, they will only get to the one box, and they'll have to break out either the next floor or break the glass to get to the next box. There's one on each side of the base. Hidden, using armored or regular sheet metal will help hide that gap. One of our ways up to the base is going up these jump ups, where we have turrets hidden behind there to watch. And our roof has lots of great angles looking down and looking far out for you to retake fights. This is a spot where we can fit a mini or our vending machines. It can kind of be laid out however you like. I like to keep the double doors facing this area because it is a way bigger spot to land a mini than the other sides. You can add as many windows or vending machines here if you like, or if you don't want vending machines at all, you don't have to put them. Do some drop boxes if we do have a mini, and continuing down to the base. I wanted to build a base with a very familiar feel of a 2x2, but just change it up to just be hard to raid. It can be a little bit throwing off of its design. So next, I'll show you guys how to build it. Start off the base, we're going to start with a 1x1. Make sure not to put your starting foundation too high, or you won't be able to put the raised foundations for the bunker. You're getting your TC down. Start to add your doors. And when you're ready, you can expand it into a 2x1. Now from here, I wouldn't expand too much until you're ready to completely expand. A shelf does go here, but don't put the shelf there until you get a garage door. Now if you have enough materials to get this far, you can put a door here. And if you're looking for an airlock for the start, which would be a good idea so you don't get deeped, we'll add a door like this. That makes it a little hard to reach these top shelves, but once you get garage doors, cap it off, or even early if you want to use the shelves, you can put down a twig triangle or something like that for a jump up. Usually we use this space for early game furnaces and things until you start to build the base one. But once you get your tier 2, you can add a garage door and add the shelf. Make sure if you do anything, you put a ramp there and you upgrade this bottom to armor before adding the bunker, or you can't reach it later. Once you're ready, you can add your bunker and you can test to make sure it works. Usually in this hole is where we will add furnaces, just to move them out of that starting area. I usually use the top of the shelf for some more furnaces. And that's your starter. Now to expand your starter, you start by walling in. You can do this before you get garage doors also. You'll just have to remove this door and move it up. You cap that off, or you can use it for more furnaces down there below. Up to you. Make sure to cap the top of this off and add another door. Now without garage doors, you still have your airlock, but they will still be able to get down to here. You can use things like shotgun traps to help prevent getting deeped. Now we'll start to expand to get up to the base. Now you can easily use a twig jump up here to get up if that's what you'd like. Or you can use a ramp. Add a twig to get up. Before we go further, let's make sure we put these shelves, because those will be jump ups for the base. And then we'll add the honeycomb on this side. Now here, if you're ready, you can start to seal in the second floor. Now we're going to leave this triangle open to hide our locker back there later. We can add doors to seal this off. Now you can use this window here early game to see your roof, to see if anybody's on top. And if you have your tier 2 and embrasures, usually like to put a horizontal so we can see people's feet. Or if they are running through the door, we can take it off and shoot up at them. Now upgrade these roofs as you wish. You can put mixing tables here, boxes, whichever you'd like. Vending machine room, bunker. Usually window will them off after we have boxes down, just to make it a little bit more of a pain. We can add airlock for our front door on either side. And it should look something like this. And then ready, you can add this honeycomb early. And now, if you don't want to use the twig, you can start by building off the build-offs on this side of the base. We're going to build out 9 squares. If you don't have room for 9, you can always build out what you can, build back with triangles, and then build back out to get to 9, which I'll show you on the other side. We're going to half moon back till we can fit 2 squares. And if you want to do this early on, before you get your outers up, these are staying here, so you can put those there and use it for your jump up. Stone takes 4 hours of decay, so you have 4 hours till you can build your TCs, or if you want to upgrade to metal, you have 8 hours. Now for this side, if you don't have the room, we'll build out, let's say, 5. We have 5. Remember, we went out 5 squares. We'll go back till we have a triangle facing that way. And we'll count out again. 6, 7, 8, 9. Cap that off. Giving us to the spot where we can fit 2 more squares. Now we'll build the other TCs for the sun. Feel free to use any type of external you would like. I just go with standard ones because they're easy to build and quick to put up. And we'll go over here and put this one. When I'm building in-game, I always like to get all my outers up first, because once people start building outers, they might try to come and grief you. So I'm going to build all the outers first, as if I was in a game. Connect that. Those 2 outers up, we can add the other 2. Add an extra triangle of honeycomb to this side of the base. And we'll put 2 triangles on each side. From here we will go out 7 squares. Cap it off with a triangle. And come back with triangles till we meet it. Putting 2 triangles on the side like this, and deleting the rest of our build out. From there, we're going to put 2 squares out. Half moons, triangle, cap it. And place our outer. To get this to connect, we are just going to make this all gatehouses just for this. And make sure that we do finish these, because if this is not half walled here with the window frame, it will decay. We'll have more of that here in a second. And that will have the HTC for that side. And we'll repeat that on this side. Can't use that skin in the build server because it is bugged. Alright, now we'll have all of our outers down. We'll start to build the shell of the base. Just remember that if this square is placed here, it's not connected to this yet until you put the walls up. I like putting a single door here, just so it creates a little bit of an airlock at our front door. This is open in and these doors are open. We can still peek out and they can't get through, even if only one door is open. We'll go and repeat that on the other side. And one last thing on each one of these sides, we need to make sure to put our triangle here. And that's the 2 starting sides for the shell. We're going to work on this side. one can be a little tricky to place, so trick to getting it down is to place a triangle there. Deleting it, now let's see how to place it. Where to put fireplaces here so you can peek over the edge. And leaving it as normal stone will leave that conditional with the overhang to just kind of hide you a little bit better. And we'll go finish that up on the side. Make sure that this triangle piece connects to the outside and leaves this little gap in between. At this point, you want to start to finish this second floor here. That, remove this, add a garage door. This will be your bedroom floor. This will be up to the roof so we can cap that off. To build this part, we're going to make sure that all these walls connect to the outside of the base and not the inner ones. It should leave this little bit of a gap. At that point, our shell will be sealed. Here, we're going to start to make our bunkers. The easiest way to connect this top roof piece is to come on top of it. It should do like that. Come down and check. It should still be open until you delete that, and it should be closed. Now we're going to work onto the peaks. Most important is make sure to add this square frame here so we can add the windows above. I'm gonna put a ramp here, a ramp here, delete this piece underneath. If you don't connect this floor to the outside, this ramp won't hold the stability of this ramp. After we add the 2 windows, we'll put that frame on there again and use a ramp. Once you have enough metal, upgrade this piece of the metal. I usually upgrade both because if this one breaks, this will open. This allows us to get a little bit more visibility outside the base. We're going to repeat those 2 on the other side. I leave this half wall here just in case this ramp breaks. You can place that back relatively easy. See here, I forgot to add this frame, so I have to remove that. And we're going to work on doing the rest of the base. After that, we're going to build the peaks on the sides with our roof retakes. To get that, I'm going to put 2 frames up onto these. Jump up here, you'll see the stick up the top. We'll cover them off. And once again, you can add embrasures here. Just to make it harder to look into. Usually after we made it this far, that's when I will start to build the funnel and the compound of the base. So on these sides that have our entrances, I'm gonna put 2 squares here just to have like a little farm. And on these sides, which our breach peaks are on, we're gonna use 2 triangles. So the sides with the entrances, we'll add the squares, and the sides with the breach peaks, we'll add the 2 triangles. After that, we're going to build 2 squares out. I usually use these as additional breach peaks, but you can also make them bedrooms, which I'll show you on the next one. You'd like bedrooms. All you need to do is do something like that. I like the breach peaks a little better, allowing if they're outside the base, you can look outside the walls, fight a little bit earlier, and move back to the inner breach peaks if they break the walls, and then fight from the shooting floor also. And it should start to look something like this. Now to finish up the gatehouses, we'll create a funnel. Now something that I like to do, but it's completely up to you, is I like to put half walls in these sections right here, and a full wall here. Allowing us to look up over our gatehouses and get a little bit of a peek. People can HV rocket up through them to get your turrets. That is one disadvantage. So if you don't want that, you can just put a half wall here and it'll close it off. Putting these ramps here like this allows our one turret to be able to see a little bit more, since with the turret updates, can't fit as many in the compound as we did before. This side, it's very similar. Make sure you don't forget to add a triangle here so that they can't jump to the windows. Could put a half wall here, but people could self-side it out. Now, just for demonstration, if you wanted to add 2 of these, usually I would do it maybe on the breach side, add bedrooms on this side. If you don't want to put them out there, just get rid of this. We'll make this a wall. Drop up boxes up top. We'll continue the same type of funnel through here. Doing this does take away 2 of the turrets, only leaving the one on 2 of the sides, but they still would cover almost 360 the base. Adding 2 beds in a box up top does allow you to have these retakes through the walls. My team usually doesn't build bedrooms as much, so I'm just going to make them gatehouses. Now, being the gatehouse is done, we can now put our walls down. You can put the furnaces down second or first. I usually like to do it second. And depending on how many furnaces you would like, can in some spots only fit one wall. I would try to put the furnaces in between where the square parts are. It's a little easier to put them, and then on these sides, if you don't want as many furnaces, it only takes one wall to cover these. So this side I usually start on the gatehouse side. Free look and an idea of the size of the wall. You can easily fit it in. Should raise the furnace up as high as it goes to create a barrier. And we'll fit it in here. And they won't be able to come through without breaking the large furnace. If you did want to put it on this side, I would probably put the furnace down first, as it is a little narrower. You do have to put the walls a little farther out. It's a little tricky to get the right spot where it likes to go. But it can be done, and you can fit 4 more furnaces in. It also makes this a funnel wall extra. If not, one wall can just go there. And now our compound's done. Add our barricades. Add these. These frames belong up here, so it makes it a little easier to place these. We'll use those frames for our turrets to put our chain link fences in. and probably place them a little bit better than I did right here. I'll put one on each top of these peaks. And now you have all your barricades up. That we're going to finish up the shooting floor and roof. And these areas will be for our mobility off the roof. Getting this angle can be a little difficult at times. For that, we're going to add the rest of our pieces here to the roof. Usually I like to add doors on these sides so we can plug in the mini and push it in. And on a couple of these sides, I will add doors for vending machines. Add windows or as many doors as you want. You can kind of customize that how you want. I try to add a spot for a mini on each side. The last parts to add for building is our mobility out of the shooting floor. Allows us to get down off the roof or off the shooting floor relatively quickly. I'll add ramps here too to hide shotgun traps underneath and make the transition off the roof even easier. And with that, we've built the whole base. Next, I'll add some of the spots where I like to put SAM sites, windmills, and things along that. Usually I will leave these stone, and usually I put SAM sites up on these 4 platforms. If you don't want to add SAM sites, or put them in the middle of the base, or out somewhere else. Thing that I also could like to do. Let's put these little ramps up here. This adds a little bit more of a peak. If this is up here, sometimes the conditionals will stop it if you don't have the building skins. It just gives you a little bit of a different mountain peak up above to look down onto people. I'll have to go. On these squares here is where I usually add my windmills. And adding SAM sites or a lot of lights and things are probably required too, so I'll put 2 windmills up on the top. Now we're going to head back down to the shooting floor and I'm going to set up the bunkers. To hide the bunkers, you want to make sure to use either regular sheet metal or armored. Because the conditionals will hide it a little better. And here's where I usually add my batteries and a few boxes. So on this side, we'll add a battery. We'll cap it off the door, make sure that door is upgraded, and it will create this barrier along the wall, not allowing people to see in. Same thing goes on this side. Add a shelf. And we'll fit barrels. If you don't have barrels, you can use small boxes. But barrels work best. We'll put a window in front of it, upgrade it to metal, and place glass over it. And the view from the outside. Armor creates a tighter seal. But if you do armor, you have to make sure to do the windows also.